Thanks to the incredible Asai Zakaf Asai. I can never remember. I always get confused with that. But for creating such a beautiful piece that quite literally at the perfect time of day when the sun is hitting, it just creates this beauty around me. There is such a calming element to it that just brings, I think, me back into my space, and it fills me a lot. So I might have to keep shifting my vantage point because the sun's going to come shooting right through here, like it'll be like that at some point. But I think it's important for me to express and share some what's going on at the moment. I'm doing this for me, first and foremost. So, yeah, I can see what's happening in the world right now, and I can see that we are in a very crazy time of, the isolation, not only the isolation, but the distancing. It's really symbolic of being responsible for ourselves right now. And I, for one, am diving into this, and I am not wasting this incredible opportunity doing the same thing that I've always done. What would be the point of that? This time that we have now is most likely never going to happen again. We are being forced into reflection. The symbolism is like just incredible right now. We're being forced into deep reflection and seeing where we've been playing out the old paradigm and the old way that is just no longer serving us, and how responsible we are being in that is, I think, the determining factor as to how comfortable we are right now in this place. Now, people are losing their jobs, and there is a lot of fear out there, and I fear for people's wellness. People are afraid of getting sick, and so their health and well-being, the health and well-being of their loved ones, and people that have lost their jobs and things like that. But however, we're also fully supported in this too. I've gone through lots of different fears in different ways, so I'm not trying to take away from what people are experiencing right now, going, how could you possibly know? Well, I do know, because I've gone through this at different periods of time, but also a period of time when collectively we weren't experiencing it. So there was a sense of that I had a lot of loneliness in my experiences of this, of losing a job, potentially, losing my home and whatnot. And life was going on around me. And so that was in itself like a difficult time. But I'm not saying that it's not difficult right now for those people that are experiencing it. We're all going through what we need right now to let go of what is no longer serving us. And we're being forced into that. The thing is this has been like, life has been telling us this for a very long time. I've been myself communicating with anyone who'll listen that this for a very long time. We have to take complete responsibility for ourselves and what's happening in our lives. We've got to be in containment of our energy, and it is up to nobody else to do that. So I have the liberty right now, and I have a lot of liberties right now, but that is because I have actually worked incredibly hard on myself being the human that I am today. I have spent so much money. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of money that I have spent on self-development, coaching, courses, and whatnot. So what I say comes from my experience. That is my experience, and no one else's, but it's also not the way that everyone has to experience it. It's just the way that I chose to do it. However, from that place, I have a certain amount of liberties right now. And I am using this time as an opportunity to upskill, to dive deeply into a project that I'm working on, and I'm looking for creative solutions around me. I am utilizing this time to be the best version of myself and look for opportunities for the new way that's coming. And that's what I want to focus my energy on. What I'm seeing now is people that are so wanting desperately to hang on to the old way and are projecting that still onto me. And when I am trying to assert my boundaries, there is people jumping up and down and being very unhappy about that. So this video is almost an open communication that I am sending out as a clear message of what I will and won't put up with in my life. I had somebody this morning send me a picture of their dick. This is someone that I have not had communication with for 2 years, maybe. And I woke up this morning to a picture of his dick. So at first, I just thought I'm going to ignore it. And then when I was processing it, and I'm like, well, what was that all about? Why? I didn't ask for that. I don't appreciate that either. But what is this all about? And it got me thinking. I was like, this is what's playing out right now. The old paradigms and what people were wanting, or how they were getting their needs met in the old way, is no longer serving us. Cheap, gratifying moments are no longer what this world is going to be about. If you are seeking out these quick fixes and projecting yourself onto another person in the hopes to be able to access or to relieve that feeling that you're experiencing, you're going to really fuck yourself up right now. Where there is a deficit in us and we try and fill our cup from an external source, we've got to be really mindful and take full responsibility that if we don't get our needs met in that moment, what that actually means. It means that you're going to have to deal with that yourself. It is not up to anybody in this world to deal with what you're not willing to resolve within yourself. This is where we put on our big girl pants or our big boy pants and we say, I am only interested in small sexual gratifying moments that I want to get from another person. So now what's happened, we're all in lockdown. The fuck boys can't be fucking anymore. So they've got to find ways that they can get that gratification. Do not project your unresolved shit onto me. I've done my work. I've done my part. I am a clear vessel that I take full responsibility for myself, but I'm not taking responsibility for yours. I have found different people at different times messaging, but not messaging in a way that is saying, hey, I'm really lost right now and I could really use somebody to talk to. I get to decide whether or not I can be that person or not. And then I get to decide that, you know what, this is nothing that I really have, I don't have the capacity for this right now. So I'm going to direct you into a way where I can give you or help connect you to somebody that can. But it will come at a cost to you. Whether that be something that you can afford right now or you have the time or space for right now is really nothing to do with me and it's not my responsibility. But just know that this is time for us to really be clear about what we're communicating. This is a time for us to really start taking responsibility of who we are and how we want to relate. For me, I am an eternal fixer. I'm always putting myself out there to help everyone else. And then I come home to my beautiful place that fills me and holds me. And I resolve all of that within myself. And now it's getting to a place where I can feel that I have a lot of people taking from me, but I don't actually have a lot of relationships that are quite equal anymore. I really feel that. I've only got a couple of relationships, I think, in my life that I feel they are equally give and take. And I'm taking responsibility for that. I am saying, well, no, I am actually not anybody's therapist anymore. I don't want to be anybody's therapist anymore. I want to live my life and I want to use my skills and my energy rather than pumping everybody else's tires and being that source of constant confidence and reassurance and building up and, filling everybody else's cup. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to fill my own cup, and I want to use my energy towards projects that are meaningful to me and that I can feel are going to contribute to something bigger. And I want to do that as a way to upskill myself. So I'm taking a lot of responsibility right now for where I have leaked out so much of my energy to trying to do for everybody else what I have had to be forced to do for myself. And I have to be more disciplined in that. So when I sit there and I have had this endless battle that has been going on for longer than I can remember of being used for sex or in terms of, and not that, I've got to be honest, not that I sit there and go and give out the sex everywhere, but what I found is a lot of my relationships that I've had have been, or, a lot of attention that I might have got from the opposite sex was once, became very clear very quickly that they were looking for sex. And once I identified that and it was clear that that wasn't going to be reciprocated, then I would no longer have any use. It's interesting that I can see now that this is me, this is my fault, this is what it has been showing me. It's like I am not being disciplined with how I approach this world. I'm not being disciplined with being responsible for myself. I'm constantly trying to feed into another person to be relevant in their lives so that I can feel accepted and loved. And that's just been something playing out for a really long time for me. And no more of that, because that is the old way. That is the way that we have been conditioned, and society had contributed to how I saw the world. And that's not how I see the world now. We are in a remarkable new time, 2020. It's undoubtedly something that none of us have, has anybody been did anyone see, which is hilarious, did anybody see this coming? It's like, I know a few people that actually have, because we've been talking about this kind of stuff for a long time, but it's like nobody knew in this capacity that it was coming. But it has meant that we've got to drop the shit, drop the projections, start looking at what life is trying to say, rather than sitting there and thinking that you should be this for me, you should be that for me, you should be doing this, your duty as a daughter is to do this, your duty as someone is to do this, you should be helping this person, no one should be doing anything. We are responsible for ourselves first and foremost. No one is responsible for being anything for anybody else other than who they are. I am making the commitment to myself that if who I am as I stand is not enough, then that is as far as I go with that connection and that relationship. As I am, if that is not enough, and if what I have to give is not enough in this moment and you need more from me, then we already have an uneven dialogue that is not going to be balanced, and it's not going to work for me anymore. So this is what taking responsibility looks like, should I say. It's not sitting there and looking at my previous experience and go, how dare that guy send a dick pic to me? Do you know what? He's probably sent those pictures to about 50 other people and is seeing who's going to buy. Where am I actually going to get a response from this where I can gratify myself sexually? So I am not anyone. He's just reaching out, putting the fishing net out and seeing who wants to be pulled back in. However, I can guarantee he's never going to send that to me again, because I've placed my boundaries. Now, if he came back at me with anything after that, then obviously that's on him. However, he's looking to get his needs filled, and you know what? Somebody didn't put up their hand. So my responsibility lies in being able to then communicate, this is not okay. This is a violation, and communicating what that means for me and that I don't want that anymore. So I have taken full responsibility for that, and there we go, the end of that situation. But it's also got me thinking about how much we don't actually communicate what we're capable of. Where we sit there and say, you want to be able to vent to me today? Well, you know what? I've got this much time, or I've got this much capacity to give that to you, but anything else, I can't provide that for you. That should be enough. We should be able to say that to one another. Or, I want this from you. I want to come and see you today, but me coming to see you is actually that I want to offload to you. That's okay. Guess what? I'm not in that space that I can be that. If you want to come and have a cup of tea with me and just enjoy me, yes, I can do that. But as far as anything else goes, I can't. Why can't we have those communications with one another? Question, do you have those communications with people in your life? And if not, why? Why? And honestly, why? Is there a fear that your needs won't be met? Or is there a fear that you would actually have to meet those needs yourself? For me, maybe I haven't been clear about when I know people are coming to me because they want something from me. And maybe I haven't been diligent enough in trying and in extracting what it is that they want from me and deciding whether or not I can give that. And that's a real theme for me that I am just diving into and just saying, yeah, I'm going to take responsibility for my part. I am going to actually see where I have created that reality for myself. And now I'm going to be more responsible in it. And it's going to piss a lot of people off because, you know what, when you change the dynamic of a situation, then, you know, get ready because it will reveal what that connection is really about. And if that connection has been built on what I am doing for you, and then when I stop doing that, mostly that relationship falls away. So I have applied this for a long time now, where I had cut off the source of what a dynamic was playing out, and the relationship really just isn't there any longer. It either comes back in a new way or it dissolves completely. So very interesting, and I can say that I'm excited to see what this newness that I'm going to, and this new discipline that I'm going to apply will be bringing. In terms of the space and the social distancing, at first I was really upset by it. I'm a very affectionate person and I'm a tactile person. So I love touch and I love that. And I'm sitting here now and having this space because I live alone, you know, and mostly, I'm the only person I've touched. I did hug somebody recently, but we've both been isolating and for a long time. So I've hugged someone and it was so strong and I got goosebumps all over my body. And I was like, wow, that was enough to just completely fill what I've probably just been having these, meet someone, hey, how's it going? And hug them and whatnot. And it's, it's just such a whatever. Having that one meaningful exchange was so deep and so rich. And, that's what we're here for now. It's to deepen, get a sense of deepening how we communicate, deepening how we associate with one another, deepening that relationship with self. And that is what I'm really loving, is this amazing opportunity where I can deepen with myself. That social distancing has given me such a sense of such crystal clear clarity that I would never have done that on my own accord. I would never have sat there and went, I am going to, have a real distance from people and just to preserve my own energetic space. I would never have done that voluntarily. And this has forced me into that. And I'm loving it. And it is something that I am actually going to continue doing from now on, outside of coronavirus, outside of all of this. I'm going to be very, very responsible in how closely I want somebody to be to me. I'm going to be very responsible in what I take on of others and what I choose to not take on of others. And I'm going to really, I'm going to do this for me. And I'm going to watch my world and see how that transforms and see who I become in that space. Because I've got a sneaking suspicion that when I use all of that energy and I conserve it, and then I put it into this project that I can see is getting faster, it's developing faster and faster, and it is becoming bigger and bigger. And at first it seemed like a pipe dream. Now it's actually a very big reality. So I'm going to see that preservation, what that contributes and what that delivers to my world. And I'm fucking excited. I'm so fucking excited. I also would like to, no, I think that's actually it. There's nothing more to say. Yeah, so